Good evening, everyone. Look, you are good. You're settling down just at the right time, so well done. I don't have to say anything. Look, a very good evening to you all, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 45th Baggs Memorial Lecture at the University of Birmingham. So thank you very much for coming out on this dark and rather gloomy winter's evening, but it's wonderful to see so many of you here in the Great Hall. So I hope you managed to grab a mince pie on the way and that you're beginning to feel the holiday spirit. This evening should certainly help, I think, with that. So the history of this evening's lecture is both interesting, I think, and unusual. It was made possible through the generous bequest of alumnus Thomas Baggs in 1973. And Thomas had wide-ranging and distinguished career in the fields of teaching, wartime journalism, advertising, both in the UK and in the US, of which I'm sure gave him a unique perspective and experience on which to reflect on the question of the nature of happiness. So Thomas's bequest for a series of happiness lectures to be delivered by suitably qualified persons has presented an engaging challenge to all generations of leading psychologists and writers, artists, scientists, and indeed politicians. And this most elusive of subjects has been addressed by a diverse range of perspectives, from people ranging from Sir David Attenborough, Jung Chan, Dame Tanny Gray-Thompson, and our dear late Benjamin Zephaniah. And each has given us something new to consider and reflect upon. So the first lecture took place in 1976, and 47 years later, it remains as relevant as ever to ask, as in the terms of the original benefaction, what is happiness, and how may it be achieved by individuals as well as nations? So, happiness, of course, is a challenging subject to contemplate at the best of times, but I hope that this evening's lecture gives us a little more insight and a glimmer of light on this dark December evening. And I can't think of anyone more appropriate to deliver such a lecture than tonight's speaker. And we're very proud to welcome Doctor of the University, Clenton Farquharson, CBE. Born of Windrush parents in Handsworth, Clenton has overcome a unique set of circumstances to become a champion of disability rights and equality. Brought up in Birmingham at a time when the city was facing its own challenges, Clenton's tenacity, passion, dedication eventually brought him to the attention of the new Labour government, where he advised and shaped policy, bringing him to national attention. And Clenton's achievements and appointments are so extensive, I certainly don't have time to run through them this evening. You'll be budging me out the way, I think, if that's the case. But it would be remiss of me not to give some indication of the incredible work that he's doing. As a friend of the university, Clenton is thematic lead for lived experience at Impact, the University of Birmingham's Centre for Implementing Evidence in Adult Social Care. He is chair of the Think Local Act Personal Programme Board and Quality Matters. And he's also a member of the Coalition for Personalised Care and the NHS Assembly. And currently, Clenton is also trustee of the Race Equality Foundation and ambassador for both Disability Rights UK and for Skills for Care, amongst others. Clenton's many achievements have been recognised across the sector, and he was named in Disability News Service's list of influential disabled people and was also voted top social care leader in the Social Care Top 30, hosted by the Care Talk magazine. And earlier this year, he was awarded a CBE to services for disability, personalisation, social care, and health policy. So Clenton has kindly agreed to take questions from the audience at the end of the lecture, but for now, of course, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Clenton Farquharson, CBE, to deliver the 2023 Thomas Baggs Memorial Lecture, and for me to pose the question. Clenton, what is happiness and how can it be achieved? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I didn't quite hear you. My talk this evening is entitled The Pursuit of Happiness, Insight for Individuals and Nations. Welcome, everyone, to the Baggs Memorial Happiness Lecture, where the pursuit of joy throws light on the enduring spirit represented for me by the late Joanna Avril, my beloved mum, who I lost just a few weeks ago. As her birthday passed this week on the 12th, I'm reminded of the profound impact one person can have on mine and our family's journey to happiness. And I would like to dedicate this evening to her memory. So I'll start by posing 5 questions dedicated to my mum, and I hope to answer through my talk. 1, why do we care about happiness? 2, what can we learn about happiness from thinkers over the centuries? And 3, what can we learn about happiness from modern science? And 4, how can we achieve happiness as individuals? And 5, how can we achieve happiness as a society? So I'll begin with number 1. Why do we care about happiness? I started off this enlightening journey with a warm welcome, drawing on inspiration from Winnie the Pooh and timeless wisdom. Sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. My mum also believed this. This sentiment echoes the immeasurable influence that an individual, like my late mum, can have on shaping mine and our family's understanding of happiness. My mum's dedication to others, paired with her unshakable sense of her own self, is reflected in Pooh's words. The things that make me different are the things that make me. This serves as a guiding light in exploring diverse perspectives on the pursuit of happiness. I started with deep dive into the nature of happiness. And through the ages, there have been many opinions on this. Aristotle believed that it's the highest good, and the Dalai Lama words, the purpose of our lives is to be happy. I delved into practical strategies for individual happiness, embracing Mahatma Gandhi, his harmony principle, and Pooh's importance on the significance of friendship, values that Joanna Avril lived and shared. And preparing for this lecture has put into the focus for me that the pursuit of happiness is like searching for your car keys. They're always in the last place you looked. And today, happiness often arises from the seemingly insignificant moments, like finding a missing sock or realizing your phone was in your hand all along. We gather not just to celebrate small moments, but to unravel the complex shade of happiness itself. The pursuit of happiness goes beyond culture, societal, and geographical boundaries. For me, it's a global game of hide and seek, and happiness is the best hider. But what is happiness, and why is it cherished? To answer this question, I believe we have to strive for personal joy, thriving together in society, embracing what I call the glorious ordinary lives, and being our best self while supporting one another. It's not just a personal quest, it's a cornerstone of human existence, shaping our interactions with the world. And happiness is an art of finding contentment and meaning in the mosaic of life. It's a bit like solving a challenging crossword puzzle or a Rubik's Cube. But this lecture isn't just about personal happiness. It's about the impact it has on society and nations. And this pursuit is a shared quest, the story of individuals seeking meaning and nations creating environments for citizens to flourish. By understanding happiness at both the individual and collective level, we can design a blueprint for a better world, one smile at a time. Let's embark on this exploration with hope, open hearts and curious minds, unearthing the secrets of happiness and hopefully finding a better understanding of its significance in the quality of our lives. And as we delve into the profound wisdom, ponder our journey in the pursuit of happiness and how it intertwines with the human existence. And in this pursuit, we strive for the glorious ordinary life, where contentment is found in the simplest of moments. I want to thank you for joining us this evening on this enlightening journey, and may it be a source of cheerful laughter, powerful insights into the profound importance of happiness. Socrates mentions happiness as the ultimate pursuit. Happiness is a hard work, and it's hard to find, but it's what we're here for. We have known this for hundreds of years, and happiness, as Aristotle famously noted, is the highest good. This sentiment has echoed through the ages, capturing the minds of philosophers, scholars, and seekers of joy throughout history. With this, we move on to question 2. What can we learn about happiness from thinkers over the centuries? Our understanding of happiness is a rich patchwork of woven from different threads of thought. And while it may vary across cultures and philosophies, one common thread weaves through this fabric: the subjective nature of happiness. So let's explore what it means to different people and cultures, and even a certain honey-loving bear. Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher, had quite a lot to say about happiness. He believed that it was the highest good that humans could achieve. And he had a fancy term for it, and it was called eudaimonia. But what exactly is eudaimonia, you ask? well, it's not a dish at your favourite Greek restaurant, but rather a state of being in which one's life is filled with purpose and meaning and fulfilment of one's potential. This resonates very closely to my personal beliefs. It's about striving to be the best version of yourself and finding joy in that journey. My personal journey challenged me so profoundly that at one point I truly thought that I would never find happiness in anything again. My happiness before was playing rugby, going out with friends, socialising, working as a doorman and in an engineering firm as my day job. All of this was taken from me in an instant when in 1995 I was attacked after preventing a young woman from being raped. And I was stabbed 26 times, resulting in life-changing injuries. I thought that everything was over for me. I struggled with PTSD, depression, for a couple of years. Then in 1997, a social worker came along and changed my life again. I engaged in counselling, retrained for new skills, and I began to appreciate the support that I had from my wife, our daughter, and my mum, and also my friends and family. And I found myself at a crossroads. The choice was to move forward or to stay stuck in a dark place that I found myself in. I chose to go forward. And I didn't realise at the time, but this was the beginning of my discovery of a glorious, ordinary life. So much that I had taken for granted was no longer available to me. But slowly, I began to find the joy in the small, everyday moments that for so many go unnoticed. The real turning point was when I found my purpose. My acquired disability opened my eyes to inequality and put me on the path to becoming a professional revolutionary for social justice. Since finding this purpose, I have indeed found meaning in my life, and my work provides me with a constant source of happiness. Now, while Aristotle believed in a more virtuous route to happiness, the ancient hedonists had a different idea. They believed that happiness was all about pleasure and the absence of pain. They said, eat, drink, and be merry, they said. But before you decide to live your life like an internal party, remember that too much of a good thing can lead to not so happy hangover. Buddhism, on the other hand, offers a more serene path to happiness. The Buddha taught that true happiness can be found by letting go of attachment and desire. It's about finding contentment in the present moment and embracing the fact or quality of being temporary or short-lived of life. Perhaps the next time you're stuck in traffic, you can take a page from the Buddha's book and find inner peace in the chaos. Cultures around the world have their unique take on happiness. In some Nordic countries, like Denmark, happiness is often associated with the concept of hygiene, which is all about coziness, comfort, and the simple pleasures of life. The Swedes have a term called lagom that roughly translates to just the right amount or moderate. It reflects the idea of balance and avoiding extremes. Or basically, in my head, it means a slice of cake with friends is good, but don't try and eat the whole cake. In Bhutan, a nation famously focused on gross national happiness, they consider the overall well-being of their citizens as a measure of their success. Meanwhile, in Japan, the concept of ikigai points to finding your purpose in life, which, when achieved, brings joy and satisfaction. All of this is linked to a greater good, and happiness is achieved by three things. 1, through other people. 2, letting go. And 3, moderation. I am, however, not totally convinced by number 3. Now let's talk about the lovable, honey-obsessed bear, Winnie the Pooh. He might not be a famous philosopher, but his simple wisdom can teach us a lot about happiness. Pooh's philosophy is all about embracing your quirks and appreciating what makes you unique. It's like saying, the things that make me different are the things that make me. So whether you're a bear with a passion for honey or a human with an unusual hobby, don't be afraid to celebrate what sets you apart. But what's truly fascinating about happiness, it's subjective. What makes one person deliriously happy might not have the same effect on another. Some people find happiness in the thrill of adventure, while others revel in the tranquility of a good book. It's like a buffet of emotions where you can choose what suits your palate. Your happiness is as unique as your taste in food and fashion. In our relentless pursuit of happiness, we often find ourselves entangled in a paradox. The more we chase after it, the more elusive it becomes. It's like trying to catch a butterfly with a net. The harder you try, the more eludes your grasp. Maybe, but just maybe, happiness is something that emerges when we least expect it, like a surprise party thrown by life. Gratitude is like the secret source of happiness. And when you stop to appreciate the little things, like a sunny day, a kind word, and especially a hot cup of tea, you find that happiness is right there with you. It's the ability to see the beauty in the everyday moments and to be thankful for the people who brighten your life and to acknowledge the wonder of existence. So don't forget to sprinkle a little bit of gratitude into your life. They say laughter is the best medicine. And it's hard to argue with that. Whether you're sharing a hearty laugh with friends or watching stand-up comedian show or simply giggling at a funny cat video, or laughter brings a burst of happiness into your life. It's like an instant mood lifter. And the best part is, it's contagious. So spread those smiles and chuckles like confetti. Putting it together, all these ideas from around the world and over the centuries are now backed up by science. And happiness is a treasure trove of experiences, philosophers, and emotions. It's not a one-size-fits-all concept, but rather a personal journey of self-discovery. Whether you take a page from Aristotle, or the hedonists, Buddha, or even Winnie the Pooh, the pursuit of happiness is a quest worth embarking on. And in your pursuit, remember that the things that what make you different are the things that make you really happy. So let your happiness shine brightly, like the golden pot of honey at the end of your rainbow. In question 3, we see what we can learn from the happiness from modern science, unlocking the secret to joy. However, in the modern age, science has emerged as a beacon of insight into the exclusive concept of happiness. It offers us more than an abstract notion. It provides concrete evidence that happiness is not just a lofty idea, but a measurable and an achievable state of being. As the Dalai Lama put it, the purpose of our lives is to be happy. But happiness is being your best self. Science delves deep into the roots of this purpose. And in its finding, it aligns with Socrates' age-old wisdom. One secret of happiness lies in developing the capacity to enjoy less. This mirrors the Swedish concept of moderation and lagom. What else does science tell us? Positive psychology, a branch of psychology that emerged in the late 20th century, has played a pivotal role in unraveling science of happiness. Instead of focusing solely on the treatment of mental illness, positive psychology aims to understand what makes life worth living. It investigates the factors that contribute to human flourishing, emphasizing strengths, virtues, and overall well-being. One of the first lessons that science teaches us about happiness is its deeply subjective nature. What makes one person joyous might leave another entirely unimpressed. It's an individual as our fingerprints, our experience, backgrounds, even our generic vulnerability plays a significant role in shaping our perception of happiness. This subjective underscores the importance of personalising our quest for joy, for understanding our unique source of happiness. And remember, happiness isn't a static state. Our mind tends to adapt to both the positive and negative changes in our lives. It's a phenomenon known as hedonic adaptation. Basically, it means if you win the lottery, your initial euphoria may eventually wear off. Or the opposite way, if you face a major setback, the initial distress can wither away over time. This psychological adaptation lends to what is known as the happiness set point. It's about a baseline level of well-being to which naturally we return to. Rather, it encourages us to grow and become our best self. Science tells us one of the most influential factors in happiness is our social connections. The depth and quality of our relationships significantly impacts on our well-being. In fact, studies have shown that having a network of close friends and maintaining meaningful and supportive relationships can increase happiness, even extend lifespans. Positive emotions are like the fuel that propels us on the road to happiness. Experiencing joy, gratitude, love, and other positive emotions not only feels good, but also builds our psychological fortitude. They act as the buffer against stresses and challenges of life. Science suggests that deliberately cultivating positive emotions through practices like gratitude journaling and mindfulness and acts of kindness can lead to a more enduring state of happiness. Have you ever been so engrossed in an activity that you lost track of time and place? This state of intense focus and absorption is known as flow. The science of happiness recognizes the value of experiencing flow in our lives, engaging in activities that allow you to enter this state, where your skills match the challenge at hand, can lead to a sense of accomplishment and deep satisfaction. Gratitude is not just a polite social gesture. It's a powerful happiness booster and practice. Research has shown that taking time to acknowledge and appreciate the good things in life can lead to increased well-being. So, a gratitude journaling, where you write down things you're thankful for, is a simple but effective way to incorporate this practice into your daily routine. Mindfulness, derived from the ancient contemplative practice, is another area where science meets happiness. It's the art of being fully present in the moment and observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Numerous studies have demonstrated that regular mindfulness practice can reduce symptoms of anxiety, depression, while enhancing overall happiness and well-being. And as I mentioned earlier, science also reveals the paradox of choice when it comes to happiness. While it's tempting to believe that more options and choices lead to greater happiness, research suggests the opposite. It says too many choices can lead to decision fatigue and dissatisfaction and even regret. Simplifying your life and focusing on what truly matters to you can be a path to greater happiness. Contrary to the notion that happiness is purely self-centered, science shows that acts of kindness is altruism and can boost your own happiness. When you help others, whether that's through voluntary work, acts of kindness, or simply being there for someone in need, your brain releases feel-good chemicals like oxytocin. These acts of altruism not only benefit those you are helping, but also contribute to your own well-being. Knowing what makes your best self. And one of the most powerful predictors of long-term happiness is having a sense of purpose and pursuing your passion. And when you engage in activities that align with your values and bring meaning to your life, you're more likely to experience enduring happiness. It's not just about a fleeting pleasure, but about a deeper sense of fulfillment. The science of happiness has taken us to a fascinating journey, unraveling the mysteries of well-being with practical evidence and psychological insight. It reminds us that happiness is not a mere abstract concept, but a tangible state of being that can be achieved and nurtured. By understanding the subjective nature of happiness, the impact of social connections, and significance of positive emotions, we can embark on a journey to a happier and more fulfilling life. So, question 4, we ask, how do we do this? The personal happiness. The pursuit of happiness can be approached through these strategies, including mindfulness, gratitude, and positive psychology, all of which aim to align our thoughts, our words, our actions with our quest for happiness. This pursuit can be illustrated by the wisdom of Mahatma Gandhi, who emphasized that true happiness arises when our inner thoughts, spoken words, and actions are in harmony. But moreover, the insight of the beloved character of Winnie the Pooh, who remarked that a day without friends is akin to a pot devoid of honey, highlights the importance of social connections in our journey towards happiness. In essence, these strategies and insights provide a framework for enhanced personal happiness and well-being. The mindfulness is a foundational strategy for increasing happiness. It involves being fully present in the moment, aware of one's thoughts and feelings without judgment. By cultivating mindfulness, individuals can better appreciate the richness of each experience and finding contentment and joy in the simple, ordinary aspects of life. And this practice aligns with Gandhi. Gandhi's words as mindfulness encourages individuals to bring their mental state into alignment with the present moment. And gratitude also reflects Gandhi's words, as it involves recognizing and appreciating the positive aspects of life, even amongst challenges. By focusing on the things for which we are thankful, we can cultivate a more positive outlook, leading to increased happiness. But also, gratitude aligns again with Gandhi's message, because it encourages us to shift our thinking towards the positive and speak and act from a place of appreciation. So, positive psychology as a scientific field explores the factors that contribute to human flourishing and well-being. This approach emphasizes the strength of positive emotions and an enhancement of life satisfaction. It provides practical tools and interventions to foster a more fulfilling and content life. So, positive psychology resonates with Gandhi's idea that happiness is about the alignment of our thoughts, words, actions, because it encourages us as individuals to consciously choose positive thoughts and articulate positive words and take positive actions to enhance their well-being. To be happy is not enough to merely think positively, but also to speak and act in ways that reflect the positivity. When those aspects are in harmony, true happiness can be achieved. And like I said, Winnie the Pooh's insight underscores the importance of social connections in our pursuit. Just as the day without a friend leaves a pot without honey. Human beings thrive on meaningful relationships. Friendships, connections with others are integral to being happy. Happiness we seek is often intertwined with the bonds we share and the support we receive from those around us. The pursuit of happiness can be approached through the strategies of mindfulness and gratitude and positive psychology. These messages are aimed to align our thoughts and words and actions, and for me, resonates by implementing these strategies and embracing these insights. We can enhance our personal happiness and well-being. So, question 5, how do we do this as a society? It's challenging, and obstacles on the path to happiness are undeniable. It affects both the individual and entire nations. Issues such as inequality, mental health struggles, and societal pressures are prevalent and significant. However, the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius serves as a guiding light. Happiness of our life depends upon, again, the qualities of our thought. It's crucial to explore how we can surmount these challenges and pave a way for happier existence. Inequality is a formidable challenge that can impede happiness. Disparity in income, education, access to resources can create feelings of injustice and frustration. To address these, society must work towards a more equitable distribution of opportunities and resources. and recognizing that happiness depends on the quality of our thoughts. We should actively cultivate empathy, compassion, and foster a sense of connection with those who may be less fortunate. By promoting a fairer society, we can shift our collective thinking towards a more positive, inclusive mindset. Mental health issues pose a significant hurdle on the road to happiness. Depression, anxiety, and other mental disorders affect millions of individuals worldwide. Addressing these challenges requires removing the stigma surrounding mental health and promoting an open dialogue. And I believe it's vital to recognizing that seeking help and support is a sign of strength, not weakness. And moreover, practicing mindfulness, as mentioned earlier, can be, I believe, a valuable tool to improve mental well-being. And by focusing on the quality of our thoughts, we can choose an approach to mental health with compassion and understanding, both for ourselves and for others. Societal pressures, often amplified by the digital age, can be a barrier to happiness. The constant comparing on social media, the pursuit of perfection, and the relentless pace of modern life can lead to stress and discontent. To overcome these challenges, it's essential to redefine success and happiness on our terms. We must recognise that our thoughts play a pivotal role in how we interpret societal pressures. By practicing mindfulness and gratitude, we can shift our perspective towards appreciating the present moment and celebrating our unique journeys. This change in mindset can help us navigate the complexity of the digital era and find contentment in authenticity rather than conformity. At the national level, the pursuit of happiness involves creating policies and environments that foster well-being. Governments play a critical role in addressing issues like inequality and mental health by implementing measures that reduce income disparities and ensuring access to quality health and social care, and promote education and housing and employment opportunities, and nations can actively contribute to the happiness of their citizens. Importantly, Marcus Aurelius' wisdom reminds us that, again, the quality of thought at society level also matters. Society should encourage critical thinking, empathy, and collaboration to build a collective mindset and focus on well-being for all. The challenges and obstacles to happiness are real and multifaceted. Inequality and mental health issues and societal pressures can hinder our individual and collective pursuit of happiness. And like I said, insights also remind us that the quality of our thoughts is a powerful determinant of our happiness. By addressing these challenges with empathy and mindfulness and a shift to societal mindset, we can overcome the obstacles and pave a way for a happier and more fulfilling life, both at the individual and national level. And I'd just like to pause and go back to my personal pursuit of glorious, ordinary life. It can be complex. It's a complex woven narrative of the continuous journey towards happiness, both for us as people, as individuals, and as us as society. Just as the wisdom of Winnie the Pooh and other philosophers offer valuable guidance, my pursuit of a glorious ordinary life can serve as testament to these principles. Much like Pooh reminds us to cherish meaningful friendships and bonds, my pursuit of a glorious ordinary life, I draw attention to the significance and the savouring everyday moments and simple joys. I recognise that happiness often lies in the ordinary, whether that's a hot cup of tea in the morning, a quiet evening with loved ones, or a stroll in the park. These are the things that my mum believed in passionately. She travelled thousands of miles across the ocean to build a new life where she could enjoy ordinary life with simple pleasures. In line with Gandhi's insight about aligning thoughts, words, and actions, my mum lived that. And my pursuit of a glorious ordinary life can revolve around the idea that conscious choice and intentions in my daily routine contribute to a fulfilling life. I strive to make choices that align with my values and bring contentment to my ordinary days. And I do follow Marcus Aurelius' attention on the quality of my thoughts. My pursuit has involved practicing mindfulness and gratitude to enhance my daily experiences. I find happiness in the ordinary by appreciating the beauty of the present moment and maintaining a positive mindset even in routine activities. And Yoda's wisdom about resolute mindset. Yoda is often said to say, do or do not. There's no try. This emphasizes the importance of a resolute mindset, using commitment and actions rather than mere attempts. This inspires me to approach my pursuit with determination. I understand that making the most of the ordinary life requires a commitment and a wholehearted dedication to create the harmonious, fulfilling existence. My continuous reflection on my journey allows me to adapt, evolve, as I encounter new experiences. I appreciate this pursuit is not about the extraordinary moments, but consistently finding the extraordinary within the ordinary. And furthermore, I recognise that my individual pursuit of a glorious ordinary life is intertwined with the well-being of society. And by fostering the empathy, compassion, and understanding in my daily interactions, I contribute to a happier, more harmonious environment for everyone. And aligning with those ideas that the pursuit of happiness is about personal contentment as well as creating a better world. So, in closing, my personal pursuit of a glorious ordinary life aligns seamlessly with the timeless wisdom of Winnie the Pooh and philosophers and Yoda. It underscores the notion that happiness is an ongoing journey, and embracing the beauty of an ordinary experience, we enrich our life and the lives around us. Now, I invite you to share your thoughts and questions on happiness, and should you have any, let's engage in a meaningful discussion about the vital topic. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Clenton, for your journey from Winnie the Pooh through our ancient philosophers to Yoda. What a great place to start. Thank you. Now, I can just about see you all, but I can't see any hands yet. And now I can see many hands. And I think there are some people with some roaming mics who will come up perhaps to the front and start some questions for Clenton. Thank you.
Hi, Clenton. If I can speak. I can speak now. As you know, I contacted you in 2020. I'd like to say that was an extremely well reinforced speech. What do you think, out of everything that you've mentioned, made you contact me back? Because I thought that possibly you wouldn't because of all what you've achieved. So I'd like to know what made you want to involve me in the lived experience field.
Kerry, thank you for your question. For me, it's a principle of my mum. My mum always used to say, don't think you're better than anybody else. And I've always kept that in, you know, my mum made time for everyone. And, you know, to live in her shadow, for me, is I would be doing her wrong if I didn't, what I've learned, try and help and support other people.
Well, thank you very much for that most inspiring lecture. I was fascinated by what you were saying about mindfulness and the point about being non-judgmental. Could you add a little about how not to be judgmental towards others?
From my experience, when after my acquiring my disability, I went through a real angry phase. I was angry at the world, and everyone kept telling me I should be grateful for being alive. That lasted about 30 seconds. And then I realised the only person I was hurting first was myself, because I couldn't appreciate, even my loved ones. I just kept focusing what I had lost. And I had lost my identity, my self-worth. And once I started to, that's when I believe the social worker, Karen was her name, who came into my life, helped me rethink my thoughts, helped me to realise I needed help. And, I went counselling, I saw psychiatrists because I didn't really understand what PTSD was. I was just in the moment thinking, not again, I've caught another disease. What do you mean? I've got, all I knew that people in the army had it. I didn't go to war. So that was, and then once I learned to do mindfulness and let go of the anger, And anger manifested itself in severe eczema. That's why when I talk about the mind is a very powerful thing. I ended up having severe eczema, and it was because of the thoughts, and the actions, and reliving it. Once I decided to let go, I had a choice. I found out I could choose what thoughts came into my mind and how I reacted to that. And I just started to practice that, because I thought at first, because nice people are in this room, I won't use the fruitful language that when I was going through learning mindfulness and gratitude, because I just thought it was poppycock, you know. And once I realised, I started to try and help others in the same position, and just realised I found the word that when people went against me was, my mum said, "They're not ready yet, son." And I found the power in "not ready yet." It's a really powerful word to use when you see someone who might not believe what you believe. So, and that's what I try and give others. And I've had many a situation where people say, "Why aren't you getting angry?" And I often say, "Can I control? If I can control it, I'll try and control it. If I can't, let it go." And often we don't do those simple things. Let things go. If you can influence it, influence it. If you can't, let it go. And I live that. And my mum, some of the things that she told me when she came to this country, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs, constantly getting turned away. She showed me what gratitude, being grateful, and mindfulness. And she often told me, turn the other cheek. I used to think, me and my brothers used to think, and my sisters used to think, Mum had lost it. Turn the other cheek. But she lived a grand life. And when we was burying our mum, the amount of people who came, to wish her, a great sending off, we were astounded, and I want to live her values, So I don't know if I've answered your question now.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'd first start with appreciating the structure of your speech. It was quite engaging. In your speech, as you mentioned, in the 3 sources of happiness, one source is happiness from other people, but how good or bad do you think is expecting from people? Because sometimes we build up expectations from our friends or family, and then that's a source of disappointment and sadness. So how would you build that? I don't know, is expecting from people for your own happiness good or bad, is my question.
It's not good or bad, it's it's your perspective. What I've decided how I want to live my life is, I define what success looks like. If you decide what success looks like from what other people tell you, what the media tell you, you often will find yourself miserable. I decided to let go, and it was hard, because once I entered the world of disability, how people put that label and constrictions on me, because I'm now a wheelchair user, I fought against it, but there is a lot of narratives that the stories we live by constrict us. And I have a saying called RSI. Most people know the term RSI as repetitive strain injury. I call it repetitive statement injury. Enough people around you tell you negative things, you will take on that belief. So I believe about breaking those beliefs. I will try and break as many stereotypes that people might have of me being a black man, and also a black man who has a disability. I want to break every stereotype. My mum was the person that, I followed. She broke every stereotype. And I couldn't understand why she didn't get angry. So, that's, it's how you define success. And that's personal, I think.
Hello. Just thinking about what you've said about your mum, I read a letter the other day paying tribute to the late, great Benjamin Zephaniah, and his T-shirt said, "More blacks, more Irish, more dogs." I think your mum might have liked that.
Absolutely. I'll have to buy that T-shirt. I'll buy the whole lot.
Anyway, thinking back to 1997 and your transformative experience with help that helped you move towards a fulfilled life, a glorious, ordinary life. I feel profoundly unhappy that since then we've had all these years of austerity, and I just wonder how you can't be angry at the thought that people today might not be able to access that sort of help that set you on your positive journey.
I use my anger to fuel for positive things by engaging with those who have power. So what I do is I started the introduction about professional revolution for social justice. Basically, what my mum would class me as making good trouble. So when I go into like the House of Parliament or seeing ministers, I make as good a trouble as possible to make sure the voices of those who are not in that space where I am, that how the disadvantages, the poverty, all of those things that disadvantage people, that it's up there on the agenda, and that's my role.
Thank you, Clenton. Very inspirational speech tonight, and I think your mum would have been very proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I sort of have personal experience through initially being in corporate life, but then indulging in volunteering through personal changes. And obviously these are important, but how important do you think happiness would be affected by more people volunteering? And I had an idea, whereas in corporate life I'd often be asked to give young people work experience for a week. Surely, as a society, we should be encouraging our youth to have volunteering experience for a week. What would your view on that be?
I totally agree with you, and I believe all of us, with whatever experience we've got, should be sharing our experience with knowledge, with others. And I purposely, I do coaching. Kerry, I help and coach Kerry. I can see Rich in, I make sure the new upcoming young disabled people, I'll share my knowledge and I do voluntary work, because that's what my mum would, did and wants me to continue to do. So volunteering for me is really important, and we should have that collective idea of doing that.
Perhaps one more question from the audience. There's a gentleman with his hand up on the right. Thank you.
Hi. Thanks very much. Like the previous speaker, I did find it incredibly inspiring. so inspiring as to say, is your speech available online or somewhere else I could get hold of it?
Yeah, I can email it to the university to send out online and put it up online, yeah.
I think it's all recorded, and you can go back through the archives of these lectures and listen to many of them. So yes, you'll be able to access it and contemplate and think about the thoughts over your Christmas break. So yes, of course. So look, thank you very much for questions, everyone. Look, just a few words from me. So look, Thomas Baggs, I think, was a very inspired individual, and people often leave bequests to the university, but I actually think that this is one of the nicest of them all, for us to think once a year, for the past 45 years, about what happiness is, and for us to discuss it in an environment like this. So what an inspiring lecture this evening. So thank you, Clenton. You are our 45th Baggs Memorial Lecturer, and you will go down in the archives as contributing to this wonderful debate, I think, that Thomas Baggs set up for us. So thank you very much from all of us here. Thank you.
I just want to leave you with this closing for on behalf of my late mum. As we close, I would like to go back to the start and dedicate the speech to the memory of my mum. Her laughter lit up even the darkest of days, and her boundless generosity was an inspiration and source of happiness to us all. And she would tell me to end with 3 simple ideas that everyone can remember about this talk. So here I go. 1, remember that happiness is an ongoing journey. 2, remember to let go. You cannot control everything. You don't need everything. And 3, as I started with Winnie the Pooh, I will end with Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh and my mum both believed, remember, sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart.